Today I'm going to be teaching you an easy to remember and easy to repeat patient interview that will give you all the information that you need to write an intelligently periodized program for them. My name is Dr. Joe Camerato. I'm with Across The Continuum, and my goal is to make you a better strength coach as a physical therapist. Now, there's only one thing that you need when you're putting together an intelligently periodized program for a patient or for an athlete, and that is information. Let's go over the 3-step framework that we teach all of our mentees that go through our strength mentorship. It's easy to remember, it's easy to implement, and it gives you all the information that you would ever need to write a program. You're gonna wanna stay till the end because this won't work without all 3 steps. Step number 1, figure out their goal. Without their goal, you have no idea where to put your effort. Despite the goal not illuminating all the roadblocks and speed bumps that you're gonna come up with, it still points you in a general direction of where to send your vehicle that is your plane of care. If your goal is to continue to learn how to be a strength coach, go ahead and subscribe to our channel for more information like this. A goal gives you a destination that you can point your vehicle at, which is your plane of care, and send in that general direction. Even though it doesn't really illuminate the roadblocks or speed bumps that you might come in contact with, it still gives a general roadmap for where this patient is intending to go or where this athlete wants to end up at. If they give a vague goal, which sometimes they do, it's your job to pull information out of them so that you can better refine that goal and that roadmap. How quickly do they expect to get there? By what means do they expect to get there? How do they think it will happen? What do they believe the road to get there will look like? Straight or curved? All of this is good information when shaping that step number 1, the goal. With the end goal now marked, we can move to step 2, which is figure out what their experience is, both past and present. There are a few nuances to this step, but in general, you want to know where they have already been and where they are right now. Have they exercised in the past? Have they trained hard? Are they sedentary right now? Have they been sedentary for a long time? If they have exercised in the past, what does it look like? Were they a professional skier? Were they a recreational powerlifter? Did they do CrossFit? Were they a professional jump roper? Both scenarios, both experienced and inexperienced patients, give us valuable information when going forward with program design. It helps build the picture, so to speak. One of the other nuances with this step 2 is you want to know what their current activity level is or what they can currently tolerate fitness-wise. If you gave them a program right now, what's an appropriate amount? If you give them a 5-day-per-week program, is that going to be too much for them or is it going to be just right? If they haven't done any exercise in the last 10 years, that could potentially be way too much stuff for them. That could possibly result in an unenjoyable experience and potentially become symptomatic from it. On the other hand, if they're a regular 5-day-per-week trainer, 4 or 6 days a week of training would probably be pretty good for them. But if that 4 or 6 days a week of training was 10 minutes a day, then an hour session 5 days a week might also be too much. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think 5 days a week of 1 hour of training is too much. It just might be too much for them. If we go back to that 5-day-per-week exerciser, if we give them a 5-day-per-week training plan, but it's only 20 minutes a day of band exercises, that's probably not gonna be enough and it's probably only gonna decondition them. Another aspect of step 2 is, have they been coached before? The athlete-coach relationships look different from different people, but the give and take is something that can be experienced a little bit differently if somebody's never done it in the past. Some athletes don't like to give any feedback whatsoever, which can be very difficult on the coach. But some athletes can also give way too much feedback, which can also be difficult on the coach. But if they've never done that before, if the athlete's never been in that position before, they could go in either direction, and it's your job to point them in the direction that most help you help them. The art of being coachable, of the athlete being able to receive data, to receive cueing, to receive feedback, is something that comes from the experience of being coached. And so if they haven't been coached before, it's going to be a very different interaction than if they have been coached before. And that's why you want to know. Finally, you want to know if they have any aches or pains. Now, as a physical therapist, the people that you're coaching are probably going to have aches and pains. And let's be honest, everybody on the planet has aches and pains. If they didn't, they would be some sort of scientific abnormality and they would probably die young. But we still want to take these aches and pains into consideration when designing a program around those sensitivities and those tolerances. Knowing this information will help you to make modifications to the program when appropriate and help move them in the right direction. Finally, step number 3 is figure out what they have access to, both time and equipment-wise. Now that you know where to go, you have the roadmap, and you also have a better picture of who they are, where they've been, and where they are now, we can figure out where to take them from here. Knowing things like how many days per week they want to work out, how long those workouts are going to be, how much equipment they have or don't have. All of these are immensely helpful when it comes to honing in that program for that individual person. You hear a lot of physical therapists talking crap on other physical therapists who use cookie cutter programs. This right here, what I'm teaching you, is how we avoid that and make individualized, specific programs for people to help them the most that we possibly can. Most of the scheduling is going to come down to what they have as far as activity tolerance, which is what we learned in step 2, as well as what their schedule looks like and what time they have available. Also, what time they want to dedicate to this. You could have somebody who might have all day, every day available, but they only want to dedicate 30 minutes 3 times a week to this, and you have to work with them on that standpoint. Whereas you might have somebody who only has 30 minutes a day, 4 days a week, and you're going to have to work with whatever they have available because they don't have anything else available. One thing that's frequently overlooked is having a list of all the equipment that they have available to them. I've seen too many coaches start to coach an athlete or a patient and write a program that has exercises that involves equipment that the patient or the athlete doesn't have. And their program will look very different if they have an entire commercial gym at their disposal versus just a home gym or just a garage gym or just a couple of dumbbells in the basement. And to pull on that thread even further, a workout's gonna look very different if they only have dumbbells in their basement versus if they have no equipment at all and it has to all be body weight. Now that's not to say that you can't train somebody with only bodyweight activities, but more equipment affords more opportunities for a program. Now, if you put all these steps together, figuring out their goal, figuring out where they come from and where they're at now, and figuring out how much time and equipment they have to throw at this thing, you can write an individualized program for anybody. Now, to help you while you're in the clinic, I've put together all of these steps in a nice, concise form for you to download so that you can sit in front of your patient or sit in front of your athlete and fill this out in real time. Because again, my goal is to make you as best a strength coach as possible, which means that I need to give you as many tools as I possibly can. So go ahead and click in the description and you can immediately download this form that you can fill out as soon as today. Now, if you found this helpful, please share it with your physical therapy friends, your physical therapy coworkers, and like and comment if you have anything that you want to share with me or any questions about anything. Thanks again, and I hope you had a great holiday this past week. And if you didn't celebrate, I hope you trained hard or are gonna train hard.